All right, all right. What up out there? I'm gonna do another one of these. Then I'm probably gonna get back to letting you guys see me speak. I prefer to have everyone see me than just hear my voice, but you know, sometimes I just be caught up in the moment and I be just wanting to get the data out to you guys, get my thoughts out to you guys, and really let you know what's going on. Everything happens so quick. You gotta try to scoop YouTube. It's like a race. It's a race for attention. God, it's crazy. All right, so a couple of days ago, those of you that know, it's already out. Actually, they said it was supposed to be out on Thanksgiving, but if you have HBO Max like I do, it's already here. I don't know. I guess a lot more people have HBO Max than I thought. But anyway, it's already here on HBO Max, and that is the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion cast reunion. And when I heard about it, I'll be honest with you, this video is not about the actual show reunion. I haven't watched that yet. I was actually going to save it for Thanksgiving because that's when I was expecting it to come out, and that's when I was really expecting to drop this video. But I gotta apologize to Will Smith for the thoughts I put out there because a lot of you know that. Well, first let me say I'm a huge Will Smith fan. As an actor, I've seen him come a long way, and he does it. He does the damn thing. His projects are successful. My favorite Will Smith movie, The Pursuit of Happiness. I mean, man, I have a surprise for you guys tomorrow if you come back to the channel. But yeah, man, I mean, that's his best movie in my book. In my book, his best work is The Pursuit of Happiness. But I love all his films. 7 Pounds. Is another one of my favorites. Hancock is another great film that I love of his. I could just go on and on and on. Earth. Is it Earth? After Earth? I love that one too. So, Gemini Man, the jury's kind of out, but I did realize that Gemini Man, or Men, is kind of like Bad Boys, where he's in the final Bad Boys, he's going up against his son, and in Gemini Men, or Man, he's going up against himself, so I don't know, but whatever. So anyway, and The Legend of Bag of Ants, but I really don't like to watch that a lot because it's a stereotypical black Jim Crow movie to me. But The Legend of Bag of Ants is good too. I could just go on and on and on. And then there's the career making, the movie that made his career, Independence Day. Independence Day, the first one. That's the movie that made his career. So I like Independence Day too. Okay, so what I was gonna say was that I owe Will Smith an apology because when I saw the reunion trailer, I was like, oh my God, my heart dropped because I did not see Janet Hubbard as part of the cast. When you see the trailer at first, they don't show her. They show her replacement, Daphne Maxwell Reid, right? So we have I like to say it like this, right? You had a Aunt Viv and then a Auntie Viv. And most people will get what I'm saying, right? So we had no, not an aunt. We had an Aunt Viv, and an Auntie Viv, or Auntie Viv, right? The Auntie Viv is Daphne Maxwell Reid, and the Aunt Viv is Janet Hubbard. Okay, and I was like, "What?" When I saw the trailer, I was like, "What?" That was my real expression. They left her out of the reunion, and I was like, "Bro, I can't wait to Thanksgiving. I'm gonna do this video. I'm gonna drop this video. That's it. I'm done. I'm done with Will Smith because he got Jada out here acting crazy, talking a fool. She's doing a thing, and he said he was gonna stop her from doing those type of things, behaving like that. And I was like, man, I'm so done with that family. You know, Um, the Jaden and Willow, they not coming out with music or doing anything no more. They don't let people bully them into a corner. Man, I love them kids, man. Them kids is doing the best work of their life. Like to be that young and to have that type of boundless vision and be able to do the best work of your life and then be like, I'm not gonna do anything because people are bullying me. I'm upset with them about that. Man, forget that. We need what you're giving us. We need it. We need the indigo children. We need it. So anyway, but I understand why they don't want to share their pearls with swine. I get it, but that upset me that day. I thought that would be one of their virtues. But anyway, so I was gonna charge Will Smith up and be like, well, you know what, man? How you gonna leave? How you gonna leave Janet Hubbard out of the reunion? Now, those of you that know this story, we're not gonna rehash it up because it's so old. But me personally, I hate recasting the characters. I hate recasting the characters, especially beyond the pilot. I don't think you can just say this is going to be the new person to play that role. I never look at sitcom series as like a character can just be replaced, just be replayed by anybody. That's like making that's like if you had the Super. Well, no, they did do it with Batwoman, but that's like if you had Superman and then you changed the guy that plays Superman, Dean, I forgot his name, and then you change him with like, I don't know, man. You change him with like the guy that plays I'm trying to think. There's not really a lot of black actors on TV. You change him with Ty Diggs. You know what I'm saying? Tay Diggs. You change him with Tay Diggs. That would be like doing that to me. But since Hollywood don't think black people have real families and we're just this mosaic of a color palette. It's funny to me, like when Hollywood casts black families, they don't look at our differences and complexities, but they claim we all look alike. And then, of course, when they cast Caucasians and Asians, they don't mix Koreans and Vietnamese and Japanese. Everybody's Japanese, or everybody's Chinese, or everybody's Korean, right? Even though they are distinct differences in their appearances. They don't do that with Latins. They don't mix Latins. Everybody's all Mexican or Brazilian or whatever. They don't mix, they don't mix Spaniards from Spain with Mexicans and Hondurans. They don't do that. Or Cubans. They never do that. Even Caucasians. Everybody's all blonde or brunette and blue eyes and blah 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 blah. Right? They never mix like Italians and Polish. We the only ones that get the composite family, I guess, based off of talent more than cohesiveness, more than, as I like to say, continuity, right? Even with the Cosby Show, you had like these really, really light, older children that were girls because they were really talented. They picked them, and then everybody they pick people based off of talent and not if the family matches. That's how Hollywood does us. But for black people, we know, man, there ain't no light skin. I don't got no light skin brother. Shoot, I'm black. I'm blue black. I ain't got no light skin brother. You guys see how brown skin I am. My brother ain't light skin. My sister's dark like me. My whole family, we brown skin. My father's a black man. Brown skin. I mean, just crazy. Just crazy that they get away with this. So anyway, I hate recasting, especially with black casted families. But I don't control it, so they do what they want. They don't care what we think. They do what they want. I guess they feel like we should be happy just to have somebody on prime time. It's just a show. I like to say that I like to think like they treat black series more like a play than they do like a they treat it more like a play than they do. What would have been what would have been really dynamic if they really wanted to do something? They made an ant an Aunt Viv, and she was a white woman? What if they had switched her with a white woman? You know, if Hollywood is really colorblind and Hollywood really has this morality that it's about talent, why couldn't she be replaced with a white woman? Did that ever come across the table as replacing her with a white woman? As giving Uncle Phil a white woman as the new Aunt Viv? That would have probably made things difficult to explain why uh why Will Smith's character is a black man and his aunt is a white woman. So his mother's sister is a white woman. But yet we're supposed to believe that his mother's sister is a Creole looking woman. You know, is a light skinned woman. You know, this shit, you can't make this shit up. So anyway, I was watching the trailer the first time and I said, man, that's fucked up. Because, you know, it hurts, man. It hurts to be rejected. You know, for you have a lot of talent and you're good at what you do, and people don't like you. They just don't like you. They have. I wouldn't say like. Like is such a weird word. It's a huge word, and it's a word that really means nothing at all. They just have a. They have a. I can't even think of it. I can't even articulate it. But for lack of a better term, we'll just say they have a displeasure towards you for your complexion. And Janet Hubbard, she's a beautiful woman, because I know she's very stern on how she's identified. So we'll say she's a beautiful woman. I'll just say that she's a beautiful woman. Period. She's a beautiful woman. She's very talented, and her presence is strong. And that's how she wants, and that's who she is. That's what she embodies. She's a real, I hate to say it, but on the show, she's the only real actor. You know, it's her and Alfonso. They're the only real actors on the show. They let Alfonso play Carlton Banks, but that's Alfonso playing Carlton Banks. Alfonso, if you know anything about Alfonso, he can really act. He was a real actor for a long time. Maybe we'll talk about that later, but he's really acting. So, you know, he's actually kind of cheesy on purpose, but that worked. It worked, right? It's like his tongue-in-cheek thing. So anyway, when you know they cast her aside, that had to have hurt. Of course, I'm sure she's moved on, but still, you think about trying to be the best that you can be at something, and people are just gunning for you, man. It's real out here in the field. It's real out here in these streets, People are just gunning for you. But I think to add insult to injury, they replace her with Daphne Maxwell Reid. Now that I think about it, now that I know who her husband is, now that I know who Daphne's husband is, I understand why it could have happened. Because there's a whole story behind the show, and then there's a whole story about the interworkings of the show. So, but for sake of argument, I'm only here now to talk about Janet Hubbard versus Daphne Maxwell Reid. So, looking at their background, which I have in front of me, we're just going to focus on their career. And if you want to go look up their career, you can go look up their career on IMDb, Wikipedia. Now, to me, Janet, she has been in shows like she has been on shows like Cats. She's a Broadway performer, just like Alfonso. She's a Broadway performer. Okay. And Daphne is more like sitcom, TV series, independent performer, right? She doesn't have a strong body of work. Again, like I said, I didn't know her husband her husband at the time was well, one of her husband, well, her ex-husband. I don't know if they were married up to when the show starts, but her ex-husband is Tim Reed. If you don't know who Tim Reed is, then get off my channel. But I won't even go there because I have a lot of respect for Tim Reed. But anyway, she's just not a real strong actor to me. The dynamic that Aunt Viv brung to Uncle Phil's character, the strength, because you got to understand, no dude like Uncle Phil can tolerate Will and his shenanigans. This is a judge, bro. You live in the house of a judge. You understand what that means? And Will's running afoul, like he's borderline skirting what they call, is it the judicial impeachment? Something like that. It's about high officials in law are held, their families are held to a higher standard of integrity. Like, these cats can't play with stuff. They, especially a black judge, telling me a black judge, and you people are gunning for this guy. You know what I mean? And Will's just out here being, how you say, being what's the word? Derelict. and he's getting my son into derelict stuff too. Just mischief. All types of mischief. That's the word. All types of mischief. And this is why the integrity, because Uncle Phil throwing the book at brothers like Will every day for the same type of mischief. So why should he look the other way in his own house? A couple of things I didn't like about the show, Will and Uncle Phil's dynamic. I didn't like that and I think his aunt smacked him one time for saying that shit. Will had this attitude that Uncle Phil was a sellout for being what, Will? I would say, well, I know it's a character, but I mean the character. How is Uncle Phil a sellout for having a beautiful home and a career that allows him to have a large family and take care of his family? The sellout is the portrayal of Will's father, who abandoned him to the streets, abandoned him to the world, abandoned him to the whims of the Justice Society. That's what I call him, the Justice Society. So Aunt Phil was that. I mean, not Aunt Phil. Aunt Viv was that dynamic, because she was like, "No, come on, Philip, just give him another chance." Now I'm putting my foot down, Philip. You know what I mean? She had that, and to me, Daphne Maxwell Reed's character was just like, "Giddy, giddy, 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 oh, you clown so much." It's whatever you say, honey. She just went along with him too much. She was like not putting. It's like, you gotta protect your nephew. She just didn't seem to me like she was protecting, like she was capable of protecting her nephew. The way she portrayed the character, you had two different portrayals of the character. You had one that was a strong, confident woman of stature, and what's the word I'm thinking of? She had I'll say maturity, but what I really mean is she had refinement. She was cultured. That's what I want to say. She was cultured. Daphne Maxwell Reed portrayed Auntie Viv kind of like with a little bit of like flavorful sachet, like a flirty sassiness, not really like serious to what I would understand that family would be. She's always giggling and laughing, and she's really like the daughter, the doofy daughter. What's her name? I forgot the daughter's name. I never really paid her no mind. The light-skinned daughter that's doofy. That's who I think of when I think of Daphne Maxwell Reed. She's like that. She's a doofus. So, So my vote will always be for the first Aunt Viv, because the first Aunt Viv set the tone for the show. But also, she was there first. It was her role. I don't know about no problems between her and anybody. I don't even understand how that has to do with somebody doing their job. I guess if I don't know, but I thought we was all working together. I don't know how you're gonna let Hollywood exclude a black person. I have a theory about what happened, but I can just say this. I can say that I think at the time the story is different than what it was. I think Will Smith as a person is not what that story is. I think that professionally he just wasn't powerful enough to protect her. I think that now he's the fucking powerful man. He is, right underneath a whole lot of players. I say he's like for black men in Hollywood, he's number 4, powerful. My thing is Eddie Murphy, Ice Cube, there's Tyler Perry, and there's Will Smith, the 4 most powerful black men in Hollywood. Number 5, Martin Lawrence, So number 6 is Wesley Snipes. I could go on. That's a whole nother video. But no, I wouldn't even say, we got to stop saying that. They're not black men. I mean, the most powerful men in Hollywood for African American entertainment. That's what we're saying. I'm trying to get away from these monikers, right? We got to get away from these monikers. So Will Smith is the 4th most powerful man in Hollywood who produces entertainment for the African American audience, and we're eventually going to get away from that moniker too. But don't want to start confusing everyone. But yeah, I mean, I don't think professionally he was powerful enough to protect her, so that's what happens. But when I saw the trailer again for the second time, they don't want to spoil it for us, and they shouldn't have. They should have kept me angry because I was gonna watch it, and then I was gonna make a video, and I was gonna get you, Will. I was gonna get you. I still love you though, man, because you Pursuit of Happiness is always gonna be a movie that I can relate to, and you always get me at the end. You always make me cry thinking about it. I feel choked up right now. But when I saw that he brung her back, I was like, God damn. That's a real person right there. I felt so bad because I was mad. I was heated. If he didn't bring her on for the cast reunion, I was like, come on, man. You're talking about some shit that's like 20 years ago. Really, like 20 years ago. And this is a person that's us. This is us. This is us. The person was not a bad actor. They could do their job. They could do. If you could tell me that Tisha Campbell and Martin Lawrence can work on the same show, even though Tisha Campbell has a grievance with Martin Lawrence, I don't see how this couldn't work out. But like I said, I think that at that time though, Martin Lawrence is powerful, and Tisha Campbell's a little bit powerful, so it's kind of like, well, he can't really, But I think he was looking out for her more than she was looking out for herself, so that's why she gets to stay. But I was really impressed that they brought her back. I was really impressed by that, and it seemed like nobody else knew. Everybody seemed surprised. But if we're always gonna keep going around where everybody's gonna keep their mouth shut about injustice, just to get a check, just to feed their mouth, that's fine. I could dig it. I could dig it. But if you get the power, you gotta set it right. If you become powerful and your career is powerful, you gotta set it right. And that's what Will Smith did when he brings her back for the cast reunion. So I'm gonna watch it for Thanksgiving with my family, because we have enjoyed the show. I gotta say, I stopped watching it when they switched out the Aunt Viv as a dark skinned man. I took offense to that replacement. If you're gonna do it, just make it a fucking anybody. If that's the case, if it's such an insignificant thing, why do you just go from a different complexion to a lighter complexion? If it's such an insignificant, if changing of the character was so insignificant, then why not just change the ethnicity of the person that's in the portrayal of the character? If it's just a portrayal of a character and appearance means nothing, why not change the ethnicity too? See, that's what I don't get. That's how you know it's bullshit, because you're only doing this shit. You're only doing this shit because you want to soften a woman's appearance to do what? The show was already successful. It wasn't like it was struggling. It wouldn't have been on for 4 years already before they replaced her if it was struggling. See, so that's what I'm saying. It's just like, I mean, I know why they replaced her. I know what they tell you happened. There's what they tell you happened. There's what there's what the gossip is, and then there's what really happened. And if you know the whole story, which I don't think the video is up anymore, there's a story about how Quincy Jones and them actually start the show. That if you understand the players who start the show, and then you understand who Tim Reed is, and you understand how that all comes together, then you understand why they did the replacement. But that's not for me to talk about. That's out of my preview. I'm not doing this. I don't do gossips, and I'm not gonna put stuff out there that's people, I don't want to get into all that. But I will say that, yeah, that was probably the worst casting change in all of African American entertainment. It's been a couple, but that one was the worst. And Black Panther will probably be the next worst. What they doing with Black Panther, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, man. I mean, it's just crazy. I understand things happen. A character, even a supporting character, their replacement from a show can really change the show. Can really change the dynamic. But then again, you got to think too, like, they're not always replacing people. Sometimes they're like, a good example would be the Fast and the Furious franchise when Paul Walker, who was really the heart of the whole franchise, Paul Walker, like, he made that shit, he made that franchise successful. Vin Diesel does his thing, but Brian, that tough guy stuff only gets you so far. The Rock came in and kind of saved them, helped them to be able to spin off and branch out, but they didn't think about replacing Paul. That was never on the table. They just wanted to honor him and complete the series of his story with him, and they did that. But they're not trying to replace him. They're not like, oh, this is the new Paul Walker. Nobody walks on there and this is Paul. So come on. Why they dog us out for? Why we let Hollywood dog us out? I don't know, man. Hollywood be like, you're fired. This guy's the new Will Smith. Like, I mean, why we let them dog us out like that for? Can you imagine, like, coming to work and you've been working with this person for 3-4 years, and then they come in and they're like, this is your new TV mom. That person, I grew up on TV. Okay, I grew up on a lot of shows as a child, and Hollywood can't kid me. What you wanna talk about? Bewitched, I Love Jeannie, The Brady Bunch, Different Strokes, the Jeffersons. Oh my God, they've done this before to us. Good Times. Good Times. They started changing the father, and then there was no father, and then it was a father, and then there was no father again, and then they put a light skinned black on there, Keith, Thelma's husband, as the father role figure. Then he left. Then he didn't leave. Then they got the other black dude who was kind of like a drunk, who was kind of like Florida Evans' whipping boy, the new stepdad. And then they got rid of her because she wanted to have and then they wanted to get rid of that guy, but then they got rid of her because she wanted to keep her father around. It's just, Hollywood been dogging us for a long time, man. But I tell you, I've never seen Little House on the Prairie change anybody. Little House on the Prairie wasn't changing Michael Landon. Little House on the Prairie wasn't changing, what's his name? Man. Not Little House. They weren't changing Different Strokes. They weren't changing, they weren't changing David Hasselhoff. They did change the dude on the A-Team that plays Face, but he really wasn't a face. He seemed kind of goofy. I could see why they would change him after a couple of episodes. But come on, man. Hollywood just be dogging us. They just dog us. And it's sad. Oh, look at Star Trek when the guy that played Chekhov passed away. He died in an accident too, and they didn't replace him. They finished the movie, and they finished the series, and that's it. I think the real reason why the series ends is because they gotta replace him, but they don't want to. And I think Chris Pine was like, "Fuck that! You're not doing me. You're not dogging out this project like you dog out the black people." Knowing Chris Pine, he probably said it just like that. He said, look, either you do it my way or I'm out of here." We're not replacing Chekhov. Chekhov would just be officially, we'll figure something out, but we're not replacing them. I don't do that shit. I don't do that. Read that crazy recasting where the fans are wondering who is this? Who is this guy? I mean, come on. When a show is, see, that's the thing. The show was hot. The show was hot when they replaced Aunt Viv. The show was hot. They replaced Aunt Viv for Auntie Viv. And the only thing I could think of is that it had to be maybe some money involved. And if that's the case, then all you people trying to get me to cancel my Netflix behind Monique, y'all need to STFU, because that's what happened with this. And you continue to make the show successful after this replacement, So, it's all good. It's all good. It's all water under the bridge, and we're all friends now. But yeah, my hat is off to you, Mr. Smith. Great work. I'm happy to see your success. You've come a long way. You deserved it. Parents Just Don't Understand. Always my favorite rap song. I used to listen to that every morning before I went to school. It's good to see someone like you, a kid from Philly, start off as a rapper, get a real career in acting, like Ice Cube has a real career in acting too. Very few rappers have real careers in acting. It's Will Smith, it's Ice Cube, it's Queen Latifah, it's I'm trying to think who else. It's can't think off the top of my head, but those three. Maybe that's all there is. I'm surprised Jay-Z doesn't have a career in acting. As popular as he is, you'd think he would have a career in acting, but anyway. So that's all I got for now. So my favorite is always gonna be Aunt Viv, played by Janet Herbert. And I think she's always been the better choice, okay? I don't know. I don't really care too much for the new Auntie Viv, played by Daxine Maxwell Reed. No disrespect to her and her career. I just think she should have passed on the job. I think she should have passed on the job. I think the way she slid into the job, politically, she should have I think politically she should have told whoever offered her the job to go to hell. And she should have declined. And that's how we got to start moving. We're not going to allow them to dog us out. I mean, they've already been dogging us out for so long, but I mean, we have to stop allowing Hollywood the opportunity to dog us out. We have to stop. And it only stops by all of us sticking together. We would do, as African Americans, we would do so much to let Hollywood exploit us. But I noticed that myself, as a producer and a filmmaker, no other race will let us exploit them. They have boundaries. They have things that they won't do. And when you're not a big name, you either got to pay them a lot of money that they're not worth, or else they just going to walk, if they even would do it for the money. In my opinion, I've tried all of those things. And when it came down to it, they were smart enough to understand that they were not going to let the black man use them in a manner they found unbefitting in order to create content. It's crazy. Anyway, so that's all I got for today. Talk to you guys again soon. Hope you enjoyed this video. Peace.